I call Materia Ture.
Very much, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the Green Party will be opposing this bill because, quite frankly and quite simply, it's just not fair. There are some important issues in this debate, but it is not fair to make this legislation retrospective and therefore to allow the board to continue to hold on to the fees that have been paid to the board unlawfully for some time. Mr Speaker, we do understand, like the Minister and like other parties in the House, that there is a problem with the 2006 legislation, and that it did not give the proper lawful authority for the Plumbers, Gasfitters and Drainlayers Board to collect the levies and fees that it did for the purpose of prosecuting unlicensed practitioners. It does appear that 2006 legislation was intended to provide that lawful authority, but it didn't. And that is a mistake that does get made from time to time. And so we also agree that the board should be able to prosecute unlicensed practitioners. It's important for industry standards to have a body that is able to do that, and the fact that there are fees levied for that purpose is not unreasonable either. So in principle we agree with the purpose, the intention of this legislation. But, sir, the difficulty is that while we could have supported a bill that does this for the future, we simply can't bring ourselves to vote for a bill that makes this power retrospective. And we have communicated that with the Minister, so he understands what our position is. There has been, I understand, a long history of grievance and dispute between members and the board about the payment of these fees and the use of those fees. It is, quite frankly, very poor practice when members, who make a financial contribution to this board have to go to the Ombudsman in order to find out how that money is being used and what it's being spent on, to make sure that the purpose for which the money was given is actually being played out. So, there's a whole history here around plumbers and gas fitters, the people affected by this bill, who have been working very hard to seek a remedy, to seek a decision that the legislation doesn't provide lawful authority, and to seek a remedy to that. And they have been everywhere that you can go. Regulations Review Committee twice, the Ombudsman, the Auditor General. They have spent considerable time bringing this issue to the attention of the legislature. And so, quite rightly, the legislature is responding. But it is not now fair to say that those people who have had the burden of paying an unlawful fee, had the burden of trying to find out against the board's practice, to find out how that fee is being used and being paid for, to then have to continue to have lost money as a result of that unlawful action and the poor actions of the board. Why should they now be required by the Parliament to give up the money that was unlawfully paid, given they have spent so much time and effort to bring this to our attention and it has taken so long to do so? So, in short, sir, the workers and the families who are affected by this legislation and its retrospective implementation have fought extremely hard to bring this to our attention. They have incurred costs in order to do so. Now that we are about to try to fix the primary problem, we should not now demand that they continue to pay. And so on that basis, sir, the Green Party does not support this bill. We do not support it for being the retrospective aspects of this legislation. We think it is unfair to make that demand on those workers and their families. Thank you.
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr Speaker, before I start my call on this particular bill, I just want to pass on my